Hey, welcome back to Know What's Cooking, where we're changing the world one recipe at a time with a splash of physics. We are on day 4 of the 2022 7-day Sustainable Food Cooking Challenge. Woo! More than halfway there, which is great. Thanks for continuing to come into my kitchen and cook with me. I hope you're enjoying the process. We're actually going to do some pasta today because pasta is something I was raised on, and pasta is also fast food. So simple to make pasta when you're sort of low on energy and don't feel like doing anything else. I'm a huge fan of these new pastas that add in some legumes to the pasta itself that greatly increase the protein and can make a pasta dish into all you have to cook for the night, which is great. So we're going to cook pasta with some store-bought pesto. I'm also going to top the pasta with some roasted red peppers because I love roasted red peppers and they're super easy to make in the oven. I would encourage you to do this at a time when maybe red peppers are in season. And then we're also going to, for free, cook a little bit of green beans. The green beans weren't free, but we're cooking them free because we're going to use the steam that's above the pasta in what I call double-decker cooking. So you want to make sure that the top rack in your oven is up to a point where it's about 4 inches below the broiler unit. I'm simply going to take a red pepper. I've already washed and dried 2 red peppers. So all I'm going to do is to remove the stem. And also we want to get rid of some of these white parts in here. And we're also going to try to dump out all the seeds from there. Right, so that's pretty much all we need to do to this pepper. And then we're just going to cut it again so we have the pepper sort of in quarters. We're going to add our red peppers skin side up. All right, so we're going to put these under the broiler, and they're going to sit under the broiler for 8 to 10 minutes. We're just going to keep an eye on it until the skins get really nice and blistered. And I'm just going to put the timer on for about, let's take a peek at them at about the 6-minute mark. So let's go ahead and prepare the green beans before we start the pasta. Sure, you could buy frozen green beans, that would be fine, but there's a lot of embodied energy in our frozen food because the green beans get picked and then they have to be frozen at the green bean manufacturing facility and put into a plastic bag, and then they have to stay frozen all the way through transportation, through the grocery store, to your home, in your freezer, and fresh green beans just taste so much better. All right, here's my mom's green bean trimming trick. You just take a handful of green beans and sort of use your knife to get them all lined up with each other, and then you just take one cut across the top. Sometimes you'll miss a few of them, and that's really okay. And so then you want to go to the other side, again, sort of get them all lined up, and then trim across the tops. And I want to trim them one more time to get them into more bite-sized pieces, and then they are ready to go into the steamer. All right, the timer just rung, so I'm just gonna check on my peppers. And sometimes I like to just flip them a little bit, still keep them skin up, but let them rest on the other edge to make sure that all the skin gets evenly blistered. All right, yep, we see that the skins are definitely getting black. And again, all I'm going to do is just sort of tip those over on their other side so that we can get the other half of the pepper nicely blistered. All right, perfect. They're gonna go back in the oven for just like about 4 more minutes under the broiler. When we're broiling things, we're relying on radiation. There's 3 modes of heat transfer that we move thermal energy from one thing to the other: conduction, convection, and radiation. And when we're under the broiler, while there's a lot of energy going into those burners, it's only going to be on for about 8 to 10 minutes. So we're really radiating in the same way we would on a barbecue grill, and there's no need to heat the entire volume of the oven when we're broiling. So in short bursts, broiling can be an energy efficient means of cooking. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the pasta and the green beans. The water's already boiling. Note that I only boiled about 6 cups of water, which is significantly less than what the box indicates, but that's really all you need, even for a full box of pasta. And so remembering that water is really thermally sluggish, right? It takes a lot of energy to bring water from tap water temperature to boiling. And so managing the amount of water you choose to boil is a great strategy to reduce energy use in the kitchen. I also want to make sure I salt the water, which I have forgotten to do. So I'm going to add a heaping teaspoon of salt in there as well. And then I'm just going to give it a stirring. So I'm just going to cover it for about a minute before I add the green beans. All right, so it's been about a minute. We allow the pasta to begin cooking and I can give it a good stirring. And now I'm gonna add the double-decker element. And so what I use is just this simple rack, which will hold a steamer basket up above the pasta. And again, what I'm doing here is just taking advantage of the fact that there's this energy-rich steam up here, just kind of hanging out without much to do. And we're gonna allow it to cook our green beans. So we have the pasta on the bottom with some salt. We're gonna dump the green beans on the top, kind of layer them, put them in one layer. And then we're gonna go ahead and put a top on it. And we're gonna set the timer for about 9 minutes. All right, it's time to pull the peppers out of the oven, and we're gonna let them sort of steam themselves in this glass container, and that'll make the skins easier to remove. Obviously, you wanna turn your broiler off at this point. So look at those peppers. They're so nicely charred, and so while they're still hot, we wanna make sure we get them into this glass container. Oh, they look so great. They've gotten nice and soft. And I'm just gonna add this lid here and allow those to sit for a couple minutes, again, just to sort of allow the steam that you can already see the steam is starting to build up in there, and that'll help release the skins. While we're waiting for the pasta to finish boiling, maybe we could talk about the fact that I'm cooking on an electric resistance or radiant burner. And so I get a lot of questions from people about what the best burner option is based on physics and sustainability. Moving forward, I think it's really important that we stop combusting fuel. And so if you purchase a gas burner range, you have committed to another 30 years or whatever the life of that stove will be of a dependency upon fossil fuels. And so I think as it comes time to replace your gas ranges, I would really encourage you to consider electric options. You'll get used to them really quickly. I would especially encourage electric induction because it's super efficient and also has that really fast response time that you're used to if you're used to cooking on gas. And then as the electric grid transforms from a fossil fuel-based electric generation system to renewables with wind and solar and hydro, if you have an electric range, you can just ride that changing infrastructure into a renewable future. If you purchased a gas stove, you've kind of locked yourself into a fossil fuel future. Okay, the buzzer's ringing, which means the pasta should be done. I'm going to remove the lid and first taste the green beans to see if they're steamed enough. They look amazing. They're good, but maybe still a little bit tough. And so I'm actually gonna just move this steamer basket into a bowl. And then I'm gonna put a lid on that bowl and allow it to sort of just passively steam the rest of the way and soften just a little more. Now I'm gonna taste the pasta and see if it's ready. I'm gonna remove the double-decker rack. Perfect al dente. I'm just gonna go ahead and drain the pasta and add it to a bowl and then add the pesto. I'm just gonna pour this into my grandmother's pasta bowl. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the pesto. I'm gonna put maybe a couple tablespoons on this half a box of pasta. And I'm gonna mix it in. You certainly can add more pesto if you like it a little bolder flavor. I'm just going for a little bit of subtle flavor. I'm also going to add some lentils to this to add some protein and some fiber. These are the lentils we cooked in episode 1 of this series as a great ground beef replacement. And so here is an example of some way that we can use it on pasta. Again, I'm just going to sprinkle these over the top. And the pepper should steam for about 10 to 15 minutes to help to release that skin and also to cook the peppers a little more so they're nice and soft. So we're just going to take them out of here and then try to remove the skins. And we see how easily these skins just peel right off of that amazing red pepper flesh. Awesome. While we're peeling these skins, it's good to just talk about how nice it is to create things in the kitchen, right? This is a maker space, and this process, it really feels nice, right? It's such a great way to sort of decompress after a stressful day, to convert these beautiful red peppers into roasted red peppers. Also, I think this time spent in the kitchen is important, and it really helps us to feel nourished before we even take the first bite. Alrighty, we are done, and I'm just going to kind of slice these into some little thin strips of roasted red pepper, and we're just going to sort of cut these. We can pile a couple on top of each other and get them into some nice, beautiful long strips. Just take your time with this. They're kind of slippery, so that can be sort of dangerous. So just take your time, enjoy the process. So there we have our huge pile of roasted red peppers. They look amazing. I purposely made more than I'm going to need for this dish because I love having this kind of thing on hand. I can put it on a sandwich in the future, throw it on a grain bowl. They're so good. All right, so let's just do the final assembly. All we're going to do now is take some of these roasted red peppers and layer them on top of there. So we want to be sort of generous with that because it tastes so amazing. And I'm also going to add a little sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. That's all there is to it for the pasta side of things. Let's take a look at the green beans now. No need for anything complicated here. I'm just going to add some olive oil and some garlic salt. Just give it a quick tossing. And now we have this delicious meal, right, of these this pasta with some lentils and pesto with some roasted red peppers and Parmesan cheese. And then also we have some green beans with olive oil and garlic salt. Let's dig in. It looks really amazing. I'm going to get a little bit of the pepper and a little bit of the pasta. So good. So quick. Anybody can do this. Day 4, check. See you back here for day 5. Thanks.